what you're talking about. Welcome to Bringing Simplicity Unfiltered.
There.
Judy's trying to tell me. Oh, I see it. Yes.
Okay.
Guys, we always have to figure out the tech. It's, and this is like live on the spot. Can you do it correctly? Awesome. Okay, today I'm super excited because we are talking about what if doubling your price, even if fewer people said less, actually doubled your profit.
I know. And Greta, this is a concept that you say it and you're like, duh. I feel like you say it and you're like, duh, you would double your profit. Well, there's other things that you have to do to make sure that you're doubling your profit because there's other things that go into it. It's not simply raising your price. And we're going to dive deeper into this and how we apply it with our clients and what we've learned from other people that we've studied and work with, like Alex Hormozi, and how we use it in our business and in our clients' businesses. So as you're thinking about this, you probably fall into one of these categories as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a consultant, is think about, like, as we're talking about these things, why do you avoid raising prices? Like, most of you will be like, oh no, that's too much, or even though things are rising, the cost of everything is rising, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you do try to avoid raising prices, but it could hurt your business if you do. And how, when you raise your prices, you're actually able to focus on those ideal clients and ideal, avatars that you have, your customer, your perfect customer profile, even more. So they're getting more success, which holds your value. And then what is the right way to raise your prices? Because we don't want you to go in tomorrow and be like, all right, Judy and Greta said double my prices, so flat out changing everything and just doubling everything. That's probably not the best way to do it. There's definitely an approach to how you raise your prices. So today, we're not talking about raising rates a little, but we're going to show you how to boldly test how to raise your prices, how to increase them, and make sure that you're also maintaining profit at the same time, because this will make fulfillment easier, even though you're like, okay, Judy, because think about it. If you're raising your prices, you don't need a huge team. Greta and I have built 7-figure businesses on a team of 5 or less people, right? Right now, Dan Martell is building AI companies with 2 people on a team. And he says each of them are going to get to like $10 million in annual revenue with 2 people. So make that your goal. I don't think that's realistic for all of us. Unless you're like a total AI guru, like in the space, that you can probably do it. But for most of us, it's going to be about 5 people or less if we're going to build like a 7-figure company. And so we're going to talk about how that's easier on you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start off at the very beginning, the very top, the statement that I said to begin and kick off this episode. And that's higher prices equal higher profit, even with fewer sales. Now, it's the fewer sales piece that will really get people anxious if you've been tracking number of sales as opposed to dollars collected, right? So it is scary to think about if you've consistently been making a certain number of sales per month, cutting that number in half, but you need to stay grounded in the idea of what if fewer customers made you more money, and how much better could you service the people who are in your business if there were less of them, right? How much more attention, services, what could you give them if there were less? So we've actually been working with a coach who has had a program for several years now. And what she realized is that churn was an issue for her. And we realized that some of her sales mechanisms that she was using would point towards her lower ticket offer. The problem with people buying that lower ticket offer is that those people actually churned at a faster rate. And if churn is a new word for you, that means they came into the program and left. And they were coming into the program and leaving at a much higher volume and much quicker. Their time in program, their lifetime value was significantly lower. So when we look at her marketing strategy, we see that her higher ticket program has better satisfaction from the people who are participating in it because it has a more of a touch point from her. People stay longer and they spend more, but they're also doing all of those things because they're getting more out of it. So we basically moved her marketing focus from selling that low ticket item to that higher ticket item. And I got an email from her yesterday that was like, oh my God, my client acquisition is the lowest it's ever been. Please explain yourself. And I'm like, that's by design. You literally made the same amount of money last month as you had in previous months with half the number of sales, right? And not only that, those people are going to stay longer, which means we're not having to continually replace them to the point where it's an endless, ad machine where it's like we're just trying to get people in to make up for the people who are leaving. Ultimately, we want to get people into your business who stay. So I want you to think revenue up, profit up, fewer clients to manage, easier business model, and a stronger bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're thinking about that, Greta, I'm thinking about all the people who are on here and are like, oh, but like my goal is just to help more people. Like my goal is to help this many, like you guys know, for instance, like we want to impact like 1 million lives. Like that's like a thing that a goal of ours is. So what we would say to you and what we would challenge you with is, yes, but when you're able to teach a small amount of people, like everything that you can and do it at a high level, they're going to do a lot of that impacting for you. You can't do it alone. So when you're able to have your systems, and transfer them to more people at a higher rate, at a way that it's digestible and they get success, that's going to multiply for you. So you're just doing it through other people versus you doing this solely on your own with your mission. So just think about that too. It's not so like you're actually making a bigger impact. Like Greta said, like you're making a bigger impact on everyone when you change your model this way, and everyone benefits. And so something that we can't control and we don't think about, honestly enough, and honestly, Greta, I don't think about this at all. Like, honestly, like for some of us, especially, which is why we should raise our prices, because those of us who want to be sold, like to buy things, like to invest in themselves, like to learn, like to implement the systems, do not think about inflation. Like we do not think about like, oh, how much more were my taxes this year? Like we just like literally are like, here, accountants do my taxes and I go pay them. Like that's literally what happens. And those are the people that you want to attract into your business. So if you haven't raised your prices in 3 years, congratulations, you've given yourself a pay cut because inflation has taken your profits. You're like, why am I not making any more money? Like I have the same team, I'm doing the same things, I have the same systems. It's because of inflation. It's everywhere. And you're not realizing it. And so but what society, what the news, what online wants you to think is everybody's living in this fear-based. And so like, no, we couldn't possibly raise your prices. But if you do it in a way that shows value, like Greta just said, where you're focusing on raising your prices strategically, but without hurting those conversions, right? When you have those clients coming in and you're focused on the clients that not only pay more, but they do more, then they're going to reap the benefits and talk about you more. So like your cost to acquire clients not going to be as high because of that, right? Everything starts to go in your favor when you start looking at those things. And think about, for example, like Bugatti, like they don't have commercials for their cars, right? Like they don't have commercials for their cars. Lamborghini doesn't do commercials because like that's not where, what company is it? I think it's Ferrari, where you have to like, for a certain Ferrari, and for those of you who are car people, I'm sure you're going to like talk about this in the comments because I'm going to get it wrong, I'm sure. But like, you actually like have to apply to get on a list to get a car. Like you can't just like go and buy one, like a special, like it's a special kind. Like you have to like get on a list, right? Like, and so like that makes it even more like desirable. So we're not saying don't make it like, make sure that when you're doing this, you're doing it at a phenomenal value to them that makes it a no-brainer. And we talk about that during different offer things. And so like if you join our Simplicity ad system, we talk about like which offers to, you know, market to, which ones you should raise your prices to. We advise you on which ones to raise your prices to. And pretty much everyone who comes into our program raises their prices on something, or has a no-brainer to where it's like, this is the obvious choice, right? And so if you're not raising your prices every year, remember, inflation is probably the reason why why you're not making more profit. You're like, Judy, I have more customers and all of this. Well, inflation's eating a lot of that.
For sure. So our last point, which you've sort of alluded to, and I think it's because it's really hard to ignore, and that is that price increases attract better fit clients. Now, I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way because it can sound harsh, especially if you're somebody who can't afford expensive programs. But your cheapest clients are usually your hardest. And if you've been in the coaching industry or the online industry or anything where you're servicing a large population of people, you obviously know that that is somewhat of a generalized statement. It's not going to apply to everybody. So like if you're somebody who, you know, you always take advantage of the special pricing or the lowest tier option and you go all in, awesome. Like I celebrate you. It isn't necessarily what we always find. I was even having a conversation with a client the other day and she had restructured the way her freebies were given because she was like, I was getting hundreds of emails from people who are like, I can't find my freebie. So like she built it out as like a whole course now. So it's easier to log into the back end. And it's like, it's free, people. I shouldn't be spending this much time helping you find the free thing that like I can clearly see went to your email, right? And so again, ask for what you need if you're working with somebody. We're not telling you to not get what you need from it. But the reality is that people who invest in themselves, invest in themselves. So like when you monetarily invest in something, you show up differently. It's why there are times that we want to give stuff for free and we'll put a price tag on it, even if it's as low as $47, because like, it's not because I need the $47 from you. It's because I know you're more likely to download and open it if you paid $47, right? And $47 obviously is not a high price tag. But I'm just saying there's a reason why high price tag mastermind programs with coaches, people find a lot of success because they realize that they've spent money to be in those rooms, right? And so a lot of times, if you feel like people aren't engaged in your program or, you know, they're, you know, not getting the results that you know they could get if they were completing all of the steps the way that you've told them to, the first thing you should do is just raise your price. Like you're going to get people who are more motivated just out of the sheer fact that like, I want to get my money back out of this program. So I want to emphasize that higher prices are a filter for clients who value you as well as value themselves and their time. And it's going to make delivery smoother and more profitable for you because ultimately you're going to get better testimonials.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of you who are like thinking, okay, Judy and Greta, how do I know when I've raised my price to the highest price it should be? Of course, you're going to do market research. Everybody tells you do that. Use ChatGPT, do all those things. But an easy frame of reference is if your closing rate is like 70%, meaning like you're selling 70% of whatever your goal is, whatever you need to sell, whatever, you know, if it's like 10 mastermind seats, if you're consistently easily selling that, you're at a pretty good spot in regards to your price. Like you should keep that price and feel free to give, discounts or whatever to get into, like if you're trying to get to that 3 more or whatever that case is, you're usually at a good spot. If you're selling out consistently 100%, you definitely need to raise your prices. Like that is a no-brainer. And so that's just for those of you who just want simple math, 70%, you're at a good spot if you're doing that consistently. So if you want to know the best way to raise your price, you're going to want to get feedback. So our next episode is something that some people cringe on, but there's different ways that you can talk to your customers to solve all your problems. But that really is it. Your customers are going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do. And it's the same thing, that phrase that everybody talks about, and you guys know I previously, hiring and recruitment and all of that is like hire slow, fire fast. Like that's like a thing that everybody says. It's kind of the same way that people decide to buy coaching programs, is they kind of go slow at it, deciding which decision. And then as soon as they're within those first 2 weeks of buying something or following you, they're deciding is this a coach I want to fire, AKA not follow anymore, or keep following and keep buying from? But you need to get the feedback loop needs to be a lot quicker as soon as they're in your world. And it goes the same for everything. So everything in regards to hiring a team, customer acquisition, all of that, you need to get that feedback quicker, which is what we teach. And we'll talk to you how we do that with ads as well, to get the feedback loop a lot quicker so you can start making money and know when to raise your prices and what to charge and how your clients want the information, like Greta said with the freebie, right? Like how do your clients, so then you're not having to go I'm doing this whole process. We'll be able to talk and dive into that more next week.
Awesome. See you all next week.